We're introducing our C2 jig fitted front end. We've taken a lot of time to put this thing together, and I just want to explain it to you so everybody understands how we do it. The painstaking of a jig fitted part takes a lot. On this front end, we started out with how we made our parts to get that press molded look. For the folks that don't understand it or don't know it, a real press molded part was made in Ashtabula, Ohio by MFG. They started out with that 53 Corvette. Those were hand laid to 55. And then 56, they came out with their press molded. Steel tooling, male and female steel tooling. They literally put the mat in the tool, poured the resin on it, and the big tool came down and squished it. MFG, Ashtabula, Ohio. Robert Morrison, I think, was the gentleman's name that started that. He had to convince GM that a Corvette should be made in fiberglass. Did a hell of a job at it. And so the world's been trying to duplicate that press molded look that MFG did with steel tooling. It's kind of hard to do when you don't have the deep pockets like GM does. And to think they made all that tooling and threw it away. And so out came the aftermarket folks. Everybody wanted that press molded look. So they made a hard A mold and a hard B mold. Squished it together and held it with clamps. That's how some of the stuff is still done today. Fiberglass molds held with clamps. Now today we've got into the infusion part, vacuum infusion. Bag, disposable bag that you throw away every time. Boy, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So now we're getting into the silicone bags. Silicone bags going to give us that look on the back side that we have on some of these parts right now. Give you that press molded look. And really it's giving you that pressure that a clamp doesn't quite give you the same pressure as an infused part. And so all of our fiberglass, when we make a piece of anything that we're doing, we use a product called vinyl ester resin. Vinyl ester resin is superior to polyester resin. Polyester resin, every time it gets hotter, it shrinks a little bit. Vinyl ester resin gets it up to a temperature when it kicks off at about 150, 165. And so vinyl ester resin is what everybody uses to make their molds with. So in our world, we figured if that's that good to make a mold with, it should be that good to make a part with. So all of our parts are made with vinyl ester resin, which makes a superior part so you don't have that problem with shrinkage. Now the other thing is on this front end, this jig fitted front end, we use epoxy to bond the pieces together. Once epoxy is kicked, it's kicked. And you'll notice the seams that we put in here. Our seams have a gap just like General Motors seams had a gap. Mr. Morrison came out with that gap in there so it gives you a little room to play with. Okay, when you butt two pieces of fiberglass end to end, I guarantee you're going to see that shrink line down the road. So we're doing everything to make it the best that we can. So here's our first front end that we're really introducing. So jig fitted front end, we started off with our getting the right rivet tool and the right stainless steel rivets for our header bars. And then we have a fixture that we made. A fixture is basically kind of sort of like another mold just to hold everything in pieces while it's in there and kicking off. And then we've jig fitted this front end. And now our last thing was to check our fit of our headlights. And so just to double check to make sure everything's copacetic. From our jig fitted front end, we installed a set of headlight buckets to make sure they fit right. That's a hell of a fit right outside the box. A lot of time went into this. Took a little motivation to finally bring this out. We started this project about 10 years ago. Kind of lost interest in it because we got caught up in the custom world. Because that custom world's a lot of fun. And we're kind of accepted today where 10 years ago, for the first 40 years of my career, shunned on pretty good for customizing a Corvette. And today, we're all on this big ship doing it. But I saw a need for this front end. A lot of people like the jig fitted front ends, and the demand is out there. We're ready to start taking orders on these front ends. And we're doing them in the 3 different colors. As some folks call this the white front end. Melanie likes to call it blonde because she's a beautician by trade. Then we have the gray, the silver gray, the fox color. And then we have the beautiful black front end. So depending on the year where you're at, what year you want, or if you're building a resto mod and you still want a jig fitted front end, but you want it to be black, we can do parts of this in carbon fiber as well because of the way we're infusing it. The only problem is when you put it together, you have this seam. But if you're doing the one where you want the stinger part to go with your hood is carbon fiber, I think if you look in your videos, DJ, you'll find that where we've done that already. So let your imagination run. So hopefully everybody enjoys this. We put a lot into this to make sure it's right. And then if you watch our video, how to install our one-piece front end, you'll use the same theory on installing this. We never glue inner fenders to a front end until it's on the car. And the video explains you glue the call section, and then you align the, once everything's aligned with the hood on, and you have that front end exactly where you want it, and the inner fender is exactly where you want it, then you glue the inner fenders in. Doesn't make sense to glue part of the inner fenders in at first. You're going backwards. So hopefully this helps y'all out, keeps y'all motivated. Keep chasing that car. One of these days you'll get it done. Thanks for watching.